Hi, I'm with Paul from Ainsworth-Lord Estates.com. Hi, Paul.
Good afternoon, Deep.
Good to see you.
And you.
Nice sunny day over in Darwin today. So
Yeah.
very pleasant trip through was it the Peak District we drove through, or near enough?
From over Yorkshire, yeah. You took a nice scenic route to God's country.
And really pleased to see Paul, because the last time I think I saw you was at the Monte Carlo road trip that we did last year.
Oh yes, last year, yeah.
That was nice. That was good fun, wasn't it?
It was a good trip, a brilliant trip, great experience.
Yeah, really
Expensive
enjoyed that
experience.
yeah, it's an expensive place. And I really wanted to kind of talk a bit about what you're doing, because I think what you're doing at Ainsworth-Lord Estates is really unique. You've managed to put together a really good business model. You've got things well managed. I know we were talking a second ago about landlords that are coming to you because you're running such a well managed operation. You've got your own portfolio. I think you've been building it for how many years now? Quite a while since,
12 years in total.
12 years you've been building a portfolio. You used to have a large, how would you class your previous business? Supermarket sort of thing?
Busy convenience store.
Convenience store, which you're actually sitting above, aren't we?
Yeah.
That's sort of down there. Then you've successfully sold that, and you're continuing to build your property business. You've got this very interesting concept. You don't mind me showing that, do you?
No, not at all.
It's what Paul's done really smart is most people their idea of advertising their property business through leaflets is I get leaflets printed like this, and just with my details on there, and just send out 10,000 a month or whatever. And Paul thought, well, that's not good enough for me, because we're not Paul's like. He doesn't like to waste money. Paul likes to make money. So Paul has very smartly bought a local business that produced this sort of magazine, and in there there's lots of local companies advertising, which easily pays for the printing and distribution.
Yeah, it's subsidised. It pays for itself and subsidises our marketing.
And allows you to take adverts like that and a few full page adverts, and you've got your own inserts and things. So basically, in effect, you're doing your leafleting for free.
Yeah, at a profit.
At a profit. Well, that's not bad. So obviously you've got a really good mind for this sort of thing, and that's why it's always a pleasure to speak to you, because I'm always learning something new. I think you're really innovative, and you've got two things covered really well. You've got the entrepreneurial side, so you've got the creativity to be able to try new things like this, but also you've got a very good sense for how a business should be managed, which I think is a rare combination of skills.
Yeah, I think I'm lucky to see things from many angles. It suits my thinking, that as well. It reflects my thinking. I like variety, so I'm always exploring new angles and new methods, not just sitting down and accepting what is given to me, but challenging that as we go along. Yeah.
So tell me, what got you started in property 12 years ago?
Well, I've always grown up in property. My father's a builder. So I was always involved in, as a kid, mixing the cement and carrying the bricks and what have you on some refurbishment that my dad used to do. So I've always been familiar with it, but my interest was really in the horticulture. But then through health reasons I couldn't carry that on. So I took a different, a diversion, if you will, and found myself working at Wickes Building Supplies for a stint. And that was part of my plan, really, to start to build a portfolio of property for investment purposes, long-term pension planning. By going to Wickes, what it enabled me to do was to learn all about the internal products, the kitchens, the bathrooms, boilers, all the fittings, all the stuff that we now need if something goes wrong. And it was at Wickes that an opportunity came up where we started to buy property. Well, I bought property before then. I originally bought my first property when I was only 19 and started renting that out back in Edinburgh, so maybe the 12 years should be made 20 years. But seriously at it for about 12 years ago. And it was from the time at Wickes that we started to really accumulate properties, and I wasn't at Wickes very long. We then took over the business that we're sat above now, and the reason for buying that was because it was an extremely busy business, and we wanted to make it busier so that it would give us access to a lot of people to get our message across about us buying properties for cash.
Oh, right.
So by buying the second busiest lottery outlet in the town,
right,
gave us access to a lot of people, and we could tell a lot of people about what it is we're actually doing.
Smart.
So we got a lot of stuff in through word of mouth, And as we all know, word of mouth are usually the best referrals,
Yeah.
and that paid huge dividends.
So you got a lot of your people that you bought houses from through the store.
Yeah, and it established our name within property at a very local level.
That's good.
It reinforced our position and our activities really, really well.
So I think a lot of people have that struggle, don't they, of trying to get deals in, but they're not quite sure why they're not being able to get the deal flow. And you've understood that actually a lot of it is down to being recommended, having a good name locally, putting out things like this, your publications, which again gets your brand recognition. So it's thinking long term, isn't it?
Yeah, I get newbie investors or newbie landlords coming to me. How can I get deals? Have you got any deals for me? And I say, then maybe the next day I'll say, oh, I've had a phone call. That property might be of interest to you. I don't know if it is or not, but see what you think. And I'll say, how can people just ring you up like that? I said, well, I've been farming my territory for the last 10 years. I've been farming my fields for 10 years, and we're sowing seeds all the time because it's a long-term business model. You never know when you're going to reap the fruit on every different plant. So, the phone will ring. There was a deal came in last week, just 30 odd grand on a house that's worth just about 70, 69. So, out the blue, just came in, and that does happen. But we don't know when the next one will be. It could be in the next 5 minutes. So, it's a long-term game.
Yeah, that's really good. So tell me about some of the things that make your letting agency unique, and why is it that landlords are coming to you now and leaving other letting agencies to come and use you instead?
I think the best business we get in, and it's probably the most business we're getting in, is through referrals and word of mouth. Some of that's coming because they've either acquired property and maybe not happy with the agent they've got, or indeed we get referrals from all the different avenues we use for marketing. And I don't mean hard marketing, I mean the social marketing, the likes of LinkedIn and that website, the blog, Facebook and YouTube and all that sort of stuff. But because I go around networking a lot, all over the place, all over the country, you bump into people all the time. We actually manage a property for somebody I met on the road trip, as it happens, on Monte Carlo.
Oh, right.
Somebody from London who's got a property in Blackburn. We've secured a good deal for somebody.
Oh, good.
On that. So you never know where the next opportunity is going to come from. But we get a lot of landlords who come to us because they are not being looked after by the current letting agent. And we had one recently, in fact last week, an agent that had been billing the landlords substantial amounts of money for work that hadn't been done. As a result, tenants are leaving. Not 3 tenants. 2 have left because the maintenance wasn't being taken care of,
Right.
despite it being paid for. Charging top fees, bad communication, bad service levels from a tenant point of view, and of course enough's enough. When they become exposed, all the elk is let loose really. So that's when people come to us, I would say, because they're not getting a good service from somebody else. And there's always the people who do it themselves, inherited a property, the accidental or incidental landlords who are doing it themselves. Becomes too much hassle, maybe a bit of rent arrears. They come to us to try and fix it for them. So we've become a bit of a fixer really. I don't think we get many people coming to us who think, I'm going to buy a house, who's going to look after it for me? Most people seem to think, I'll buy a house, do it myself, or this is too much hassle, I need to find somebody else to do it for me. It seems to work like that, I think.
That's good. So, how do you feel things are at the moment in the market? Are you seeing lots of opportunities at the moment?
God, it's a washing opportunities. Absolutely loads. Can't sleep at night for thinking about it all. It's murder. There's opportunities all the time, and I'm always up for helping people. I just explained before we sat down. A deal up the road, and potentially worth 3 million. We've got a bidding for an investor. It's just short of $250,000, and it's looking very promising.
Short of $250,000?
Yeah, it's
wow.
The site's a mess.
Yeah.
But it's got potential. But it needs a cash pot to finish it off. Well worth the money. But because of where it is, you can't apply national thinking to something in a local small town like this. You need local knowledge to know what's going to work in the area. So there's opportunities all right. They've got a mill there that with somebody we're looking at helping somebody acquire. We've got a wide variety of sales on our books, property sales, because we launched as an estate agency just about 6 weeks ago. We've got lots of stuff, lots of activity there. And of course, because we don't just do sales, we don't just do lettings, we do the hybrid bit in the middle. So we're converting what we can, where we can, the rent to buy in the middle. So somebody wants to sell, somebody wants to buy, they've not quite got all the deposit, well, we'll do you a rent to buy, pay the deposit down, landlord's going to give you a bit, the vendor will give you a bit towards your deposit, rent it for 3 years or so on a sort of rented scheme. You know, it makes the deal happen. It's being creative in your thinking. So most things when I look around are interesting to me because there's always an interesting angle on it.
It's that mentality, isn't it? I mean, see, I listen to you talk like that, and at the same time I could be talking to somebody else about the same subject, and they could be talking completely the opposite. Oh, there's no opportunities. I go to the estate agents, don't give me deals.
God.
And is that because they lack the proactivity? Is that because they lack just the simple thinking that what can I do with this, as opposed to it's not a ready-made deal there being handed to them in a plate? Perhaps with a little bit of twisting and turning, you can turn it
They
into
need to get off the backside. They need to get off the backside and get themselves out there, speak to other people, and it refreshes your thinking. Get out there, speak to people, network with people cleverer than yourself, people who are more proactive than yourself. And I go to networking meetings all over the place, and nothing more infuriates me, or it does my head in, from when you speak to mortgage brokers. You say, oh, there's no business. Or people who used to be a mortgage broker 2 years ago and say, oh, the business dried up. And I said, no, it didn't. Business never dried up. There's just not as much of it around. That doesn't mean say you back up and go home. You just got to look for ways of creating your own business and securing the business that there has to be, that there is out there to still be had. You know, if you believe if you believe you can do it, you can.
Yeah.
You know, what, 12 months ago I didn't believe I would be walking, and I still am. You know what I mean? I need to get them videos on YouTube, by the way. So, you know, it's about your belief and your mindset. So
Yeah, that's very important.
I don't mix with people who are negative thinkers. It's not good for the mind, body or soul, is it?
Completely agree. So
You've got to have a can-do attitude and a will-do.
And it comes across completely, and it's amazing that the difference it can make in the direction in somebody's life. Just a simple difference in thinking.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, in terms of your portfolio, it's all doing really well. I've known you for a while, obviously, and I know that you're very good on managing. We talked about HMOs. That's something that you're quite into at the moment.
Yeah, HMOs is something we've been developing with Ainsworth-Lord Estates Limited for some time now. Just maximising the yield basically on the units. The HMOs that we've created and that we manage for our other landlords. A lot of folk think HMOs, bedsits, it's all scroll territory. You know, hard work, messy. Well, it can be if you want it. If that's how you want to do it, you can do. But I say we operate a few rungs up off the ladder. We're dead strict with all our applicants, tenants who want property. It's all guarantors required, money up front. You've got to pass through the criteria. There's no exceptions.
So you've got a proper system that you've developed.
Yeah, and we have to stick to the rules because every time we take, you know, we're still doing it. Oh, friend of a friend. Oh yeah, okay. Every time without fail, something goes wrong. So we've got to stick to the rules, and by doing that, you minimise your problems. You manage the risk. We offer bedsits of a good standard. The decor is a good standard. We have a cleaner, we have Sky TV, broadband. Everything's clean, professionally cleaned when they move before they move in. It's always decorated. We operate a few rungs up from the bottom of the ladder upwards. We've got bedsits from 65 to 200 quid a week, and we have no problem filling them. So, you know, by being different and by being offering that service level, there's no shortage of tenants.
Yeah.
And word of mouth gets round and they're good. People want them. We create a demand by what we've produced.
So you found that right middle ground where you're not sort of at the very, very low end where all the sort of, like you say, the headache is. You found a sort of a really good spot where you've got good standards, reasonable price, well looked after, kept clean, managed well.
The thing that people say when they come to, oh, it's clean, oh, is it really clean? oh, isn't it nice? Oh, that's nice. You know, when people give you that feedback, you know you must be doing something right, rather than just looking round and making no comments at all. The feedback's positive. The problem for them is, will they meet the criteria?
Yeah.
We've got the product. We're not just shoving people in, any person into these properties. This is what we've got. We operate a tight ship. We've got good stuff, but we need a good tenant, and we have to stick to that model. It's that simple, really, isn't it?
Okay, I'll tell you what, we've got an event June the 25th and 26th. It's the Underground Investors Summit. You'll get an invite. So certainly, Underground Investors Summit, and I'd really like you to come along. And if you can't make it, let me know, and what I'll do is we'll put something. Because what I'd love you to do at the event is to share a bit more about what you're doing. I mean, I'd love to kind of have this at the front so people can have a look at it and see what it's all about.
I'll have to tell my wife, because she runs that now.
Does she? We'll get your wife's permission.
She works for Max Local, yeah.
And it'd be nice because a lot of investors are looking at this and thinking, I think really like what you're doing, it's really innovative, and like to know more. So if you can make it, you've got an invite there. So it'd be really nice to have you come along to the event.
Hopefully I'll be able to come, yeah.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for sharing, Paul, and I'll catch you with you soon.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.